Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Habiger. We start with breaking news in the search for Nancy Guthrie. ABC is reporting that a person has been detained for questioning in connection to 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. This, of course, is the mother of NBC anchor Savannah Guthrie. Now, ABC News just said this person is not considered a suspect. That's important to note. This comes as the FBI today released new images and video from Guthrie's doorbell camera. It shows a person wearing a mask at her front door. They are armed and carrying a backpack. The FBI hopes the public can help identify the person. Now, in a social media post following the release of the images, Savannah Guthrie said the family believes their mother is still alive and is urging anyone with information to come forward. We will have the latest tonight on Late News Tonight at 11. Well, tonight, the Trump administration says it's cutting hundreds of millions of dollars in health care funding from California. A spokesperson says it is due to, quote, a history of fraud and mismanagement. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen is here with more details on how much the feds are cutting and what the governor has to say about it.
Becca, an Office of Management and Budget spokesperson tells me $328 million in grants will be terminated. And when we asked Governor Gavin Newsom about this during a press conference this afternoon, he says he's prepared to fight the Trump administration in court.
We're going to litigate. We've got an attorney general that's well-versed in litigation.
That was the response from Governor Gavin Newsom when ABC 10 asked him what the state plans on doing about the Trump administration's plan to cut public health grants from the state. This comes just weeks after the Trump administration stopped funding for child care subsidies and other social service programs from California. That's since been caught up in the courts. ABC 10 asked the White House and the Department of Human and Health Services how much money would be cut, what programs would be impacted, and the reason. A spokesperson for the Office of Management and Budget says it would be $328 million because of a history of fraud and mismanagement. An HHS spokesperson adds these grants are being terminated because they do not reflect agency priorities. Neither answered about specifics on what would be targeted. When ABC 10 told Governor Newsom about the amount being cut, he first responded by saying,
328, we're getting money? I didn't hear the first part. What do you say?
Full details have yet to be released by the federal government. A spokesperson for Sacramento County's Department of Health Services says they're currently monitoring the situation and are not prepared to make a comment. The California Department of Public Health says it's aware of potential cuts, but hasn't received notice from the CDC about specific cuts and will continue to monitor the situation. ABC 10 asked Governor Newsom if litigation is the answer on how to fill the $328 million gap. This was his response.
When you have someone who doesn't believe in the law or thinks laws don't apply to him and consistently breaks the law, then you have to use the courts. They seem to be the only other branch of government functioning.
Earlier in the day, a spokesperson for the governor's office told ABC 10 that this is a familiar pattern with the president to rip away public health funding from states that voted against him, adding that if or when the Trump administration takes action, the governor will respond appropriately. Becca.
Jeannie, thank you. Well, this afternoon, Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law a bill aimed at protecting veterans as they access federal benefits. The Veteran Benefits Protection Act will take effect next January. It will mandate federal accreditation for private assistance companies veterans often turn to for help claiming benefits. It will also prevent any unauthorized fees for those services. Newsom and the bill's authors say so-called claim sharks are part of a bigger industry that preys on veterans.
Veterans earn their VA disability benefits through great sacrifice, and they deserve every single penny. But for too long, predatory claim sharks have targeted veterans, charging illegal fees.
Everyone had a shot at this. The good, the bad, the ugly. And guess what? The good prevailed because veterans need to be protected.
Critics say this bill would only gatekeep and further delay veterans from accessing their benefits. They argue veterans often seek private assistance out of necessity due to backlogs and delay by traditional Veterans Affairs programs. Well, top Homeland Security officials were grilled on Capitol Hill today. Democrats on the committee are demanding answers about ICE's training and tactics with DHS funding in limbo. ABC's Christian Cordero has the details from Washington.
Today, 3 of the nation's top Homeland Security officials were in the hot seat, facing questions and criticism from the House committee that oversees their funding, following widespread protests in Minneapolis over ICE's tactics, including the shooting deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Committee Democrats today repeatedly tried to get acting ICE Director Todd Lyons on the record.
How many government agencies, Mr. Lyons, are you aware of that routinely kill American citizens and you still get funding?
Ma'am, I'm not going to entertain that.
Of course you're not.
Also testifying, Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Rodney Scott and Citizenship and Immigration Services Director Joseph Edlow. Funding for the department is set to run out on Friday unless lawmakers find common ground. Democrats are pushing for reforms to ICE, including use of force standards and a ban on agents wearing face masks.
Will you commit, yes or no, to immediately unmasking every agent conducting immigration enforcement and requiring them to wear standard uniforms with identifiable badges?
No.
Most Republicans today praised ICE's efforts and blamed sanctuary cities, including Minneapolis, for getting in federal agents' way by not offering support from local police.
Is it not true that they were not honoring ICE detainers that were put on dangerous felons in prison so that you could remove them from the United States?
That is correct, sir. The detainees were not honored at the local level in Minneapolis.
Some Republicans have called for an end to sanctuary cities in exchange for any reforms to DHS. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Today began a landmark case and first major test of whether social media companies can be held accountable for claims that their platforms harm the mental health of young users. The case centers around a now 20-year-old who accuses Meta and YouTube of intentionally developing addictive platforms that caused her anxiety, body dysmorphia, and suicidal thoughts after she started using those platforms in early childhood. Now, YouTube and Meta have both denied the allegations in the lawsuit. Meta's attorney argued in opening statements that a difficult childhood, including reports she made to therapists of verbal abuse from her parents and bullying, led to the issues, not social media use. For years, parents, health experts, and whistleblowers have called for more accountability and guardrails to protect young users.
These companies have refused to take responsibility for any kind of harm. You know, it makes perfect sense that the playbook would be to blame the victim.
Now, the outcome of this trial could have major impacts, with some 1,500 similar lawsuits pending against social media companies. Well, coming up, a new bill at the state capitol says it is not a new tax, but critics warn it could lead to one. Tonight, the debate over how California would replace billions in shrinking gas tax revenue. And flakes are falling. Ski resorts are gearing up for a busy holiday weekend with fresh powder on the slopes.
And this is just storm number 1. Yes, we have rain and snow falling right now, but we've got a bigger storm on the way, and that arrives this long weekend. I've got a full look at the forecast after the break.
But first, in other headlines tonight, the El Dorado County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help identifying a possible officer impersonator. They say last Tuesday, a driver reported a suspicious traffic stop south of Placerville near the area of Highway 49 and China Hill Road. They say the driver was pulled over by a black and white SUV with flashing red and blue lights. A man walked up to the driver, demanded they get out of the vehicle, and tried to pull them through the window. The driver sprayed the man with bear spray and was able to get away safely. Paramount is ramping up its bid to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery and trying to beat out Netflix. Paramount says it will now pay Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders $650 million for each quarter its deal with Netflix is not closed after the end of this year. Paramount is also offering to pay WBD's $2.8 billion termination fee for canceling its inked deal with Netflix. This year's Super Bowl didn't break any viewership records. The game averaged 124.9 million viewers across all 5 platforms it was available on. This is less than the 127.7 million who watched the Eagles beat the Chiefs last year. Bad Bunny's halftime show also fell just short of records as the 4th most watched Tonight, skiers, snowboarders, and resorts are eagerly awaiting a brand new wave of snow to keep their season going. Boreal Mountain Resort says it expects this weekend to be one of its busiest so far in the season, bringing in dozens of skiers and snowboarders from all around the area. Near Lake Tahoe and Soda Springs, a flurry of snow started blanketing Boreal Mountain Resort today. Skiers and snowboarders say, of course, they look forward to these days because they know it will help drive up the business of any resort they're loyal to. And with a 3-day holiday weekend ahead, including Valentine's Day on Saturday and President's Day on Monday, the resort says it is excited to see an influx of folks.
It's one of our busiest weekends of the year typically, and then that actually kicks off ski and skate week for a lot of folks as well. So a lot of people have that entire week off to come up and enjoy the snow throughout that storm or even after.
Boreal says they believe many people will start driving up this coming Friday, and they say that will be one of the clear days for the storm, which they say is the best and safest time to travel. So we want to give you a live look over Boreal's ski resort right now. Looks like we're in a snow globe, a winter wonderland. The snow is coming down, leaving fresh conditions for skiers and snowboarders. ABC 10 meteorologist Brendan Minchef has a little bit more on our ski, snowboarding, and snow report.
Yeah, that's right. And roads right now are getting much worse out there. Look at I-80 at Donner Summit. The road is now covered. Just about half an hour ago, you could still see the road. There are chain controls on 80. Rain at Pollock Pines. No cars coming at Echo right now, so we can't see what that looks like. But Interstate 80 is where the majority of the snow is right now in the high country. So if you're driving up there or planning on driving up there, 50 is still open at the moment. No chains there. I-80's got chains on it. Chain check on Highway 20. State Highway 88 chains as well. State Highway 89 through Emerald Bay remains open, but it is going to get worse as the evening goes on and we start to see more snow and colder temperatures. So you see the center of the system there is off the coast, but it's bringing plenty of rain up into Northern California and, of course, plenty of snow in the high country. Storm number 1 moving through right now. It hasn't necessarily rained real heavy, but we have seen a few hundredths of an inch of rain, and there is still plenty more rain to come. I expect that we'll get about another half an inch of rain at least in the valley over the next 24 hours. 55 at the moment in Sacramento, 53 Stockton, 54 in Modesto, 30s up in the high country. We'll start Wednesday morning off in the 20s in places like Tahoe and Truckee, and about 50 degrees across the valley with some possible scattered thunderstorms through the overnight as well. Nothing severe, but rumbles of thunder are likely over the next 24 hours across the valley and foothills. 58 in Sacramento tomorrow, 61 Stockton, 61 Modesto, 56 in Angels Camp, 56 in Auburn, 41 Truckee, and 41 in Tahoe. So here you go. Some storms possible for the rest of this evening into the overnight, and then once again for tomorrow across Northern California, valley, foothills, and even up in the high country. So again, don't be caught off guard if you hear some thunder. Not expecting anything severe, but this is a very unstable pattern as it moves through, and that's why we have, of course, all the rain and the snow. So snow for the most part is going to continue through the overnight, tapering a little bit as we get towards the morning commute. Some scattered showers in the valley through the morning commute, but we may be in a little bit of a lull once we get to lunchtime, back into the afternoon. More snow, more rain, and some thunderstorms moving through the valley. That continues through Wednesday evening, then really tapers off pretty quickly as we go Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Thursday looks dry. We'll zoom out here. Friday is dry. Saturday for Valentine's Day also dry, but with increasing clouds. By Sunday, the next system starts to push in. By the time we get to Sunday night and Monday, now we've got widespread rain and Sierra snow, and that's going to continue through Tuesday and through Wednesday. So a lot of weather impact alert days still to come. This is just storm number 1. Weather impact alert tomorrow. Valentine's Day looks all right, but then we've got that second bigger storm coming in with much lower snow levels, as low as about 3,000 feet. Becca?
Wow, Brendan, thank you so much. Well, still ahead, the debate over how California could replace billions in future gas tax revenue. Why one lawmaker says he wants voters to have the ultimate say. And FBI raids in Georgia tied to the 2020 election deniers, what newly unsealed documents reveal, and why officials are raising questions. California is looking for new ways to pay for road repairs, and that's reigniting a debate over a possible mileage-based road use fee, also called a mileage tax by critics. We've been following this story over the years, and some lawmakers want to stop it before it goes any further. while others insist no new tax is being imposed, at least not for the time being. Reporter Richard Allen has a closer look for us tonight.
It's a war of words when it comes to paying for the state's road repairs.
This mileage tax is insane.
I want to be very clear. AB 1421 does not impose a new tax or a fee.
Democratic Assemblymember Lori Wilson has proposed Assembly Bill 1421, a bill that would extend a current committee that's studying alternatives to the state's projected declining gas tax revenue, rather than immediately impose a new tax.
AB 1421 is about getting the facts right.
Wilson says the state expects a drop in revenue as fewer Californians drive gas-powered cars, costing the state an estimated $31 billion over the next decade.
It's going to show up as rougher roads, fewer bridges being maintained and repaired, and less funding for transit, bicycle, and pedestrian infrastructure.
While still in the study phase, one possible alternative to the gas tax could be a mileage-based road usage fee, a fee that all California drivers would have to pay to replace the dwindling revenue from the gas tax.
It'll change the distribution somewhat in the sense that people who drive now electric cars and hybrids would probably end up having to pay more than they do now.
As the study continues, many questions remain, including whether those now paying the gas tax would be double charged by also having to pay a road usage fee. Assemblymember Wilson says absolutely not.
People who are currently paying the gas tax are not going to be paying more.
But not all lawmakers are buying that.
This is going to be a fatal blow to working families' household budgets. We've got to defeat it.
Republican Assemblymember Carl DeMaio is leading a campaign to stop what he's calling a mileage tax and is dismissing AB 1421's intent to continue studying alternatives to the gas tax.
These politicians don't study anything they're not already deciding to do. This study is window dressing, and the conclusion, of course, the foregone conclusion is that you need to pay a mileage tax. That's what these politicians are doing. Hook or crook, they want more of your money. In this case, it's more crook than hook.
He says he'll also push for a ballot initiative to require any new fees for road repairs first be approved by voters.
Because the voters should be the ultimate deciders on whether or not we should have a higher gas tax or a mileage tax. We have to stand up for working families, and our campaign is doing that.
Meanwhile, Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley is working on a bill aimed at curbing excessive gas taxes, including California's, which is the highest in the nation at 61 cents per gallon just on the state tax. Now, if passed, the bill would withhold certain federal highway funding for states that keep their gas tax too high. Under the legislation, states with gas tax more than 50 cents per gallon would see an 8% reduction in funding from the National Highway Performance Program and the Surface Transportation Block Grant Program. Well, 2020 election deniers drove the FBI seizures of ballots and other materials in Fulton County, Georgia last month. That's what newly unsealed court documents show. The affidavit filed by the FBI with a search warrant application was made public today as part of the lawsuit by Fulton County officials who want the ballot materials returned. The affidavit said the FBI's investigation, quote, originated from a referral sent by Kurt Olson. Now, Olson is the director of election security and integrity appointed by President Trump. Olson was previously involved in the legal efforts to reverse Donald Trump's 2020 defeat to Joe Biden. Trump has claimed that he actually won Georgia in the 2020 election, but that has been refuted repeatedly, including by Republican officials in Georgia. Notably, the affidavit does not describe any claims of foreign interference, and that will likely raise further questions about why Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard was there at the Fulton County search. Well, coming up, we're going to give you a look at what we're working on for tomorrow as we celebrate Black History Month. Every day, people pass by the historic Sacramento City Cemetery without giving it much thought. But behind its gates, across 33 acres, are powerful stories of influential Black Sacramentans who helped shape this city. And unlike many cemeteries established in the 1800s, this one was never segregated. Each February, the Old City Cemetery Committee leads an African-American history tour highlighting pioneers like Ernest Johnson. He's the first African-American to graduate from Stanford University.
History is important because it's important for people to know that people did not just give in to their fate. They didn't roll over. They fought for their rights.
Today, Ernest Johnson's legacy lives on through a scholarship in his name, and he's just one of many influential Black Sacramentans laid to rest here. We'll have the full story tomorrow at 6:30 on To The Point. Well, thank you so much for watching us. If you have something you think we should be looking into, you can email us at tothepoint@abc10.com. And to watch more of the stories, you can download our free ABC 10 streaming app to your TV. We hope you have a great and safe night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.